G'day there guys, Markee here, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Asshole? Let's go. Am I the asshole for not sharing my daughter's university fund with my stepson? My husband and I are a couple in our 40s. We've been married for 10 years now. We both have 17-year-old children, he a son with his ex-wife, and me a daughter from my husband who passed. When we married, we chose to keep a portion of our finances separate due to both having children already, previous real estate investments, and he having expenses like alimony and child support payments. We do combine our incomes for our mortgage and household expenses, our retirement, major purchases, etc. The college funds we have set up for our children have always been part of our separate finances, and as a result, neither of us have had terrible in-depth discussions with the other regarding the amount put into each child's fund. We do discuss what goes into them regarding tax returns, gifts from relatives, etc. I never expected both child's funds to be penny for penny equal, but I did expect them to be closer than what I recently discovered. Both children have now applied to, and both been accepted to university as it is their senior year. Now that a majority of scholarships are in, tuition and housing etc. are more concrete for each of their school options. We've started the specifics of the budget conversations. My daughter's college and graduation fund is worth roughly $150,000, while my stepson has approximately a $15,000 amount. Here is where the argument happened. With her scholarships, my daughter will have more than enough for undergraduate school and likely her graduate work as well, assuming she maintains her traditionally good grades. In fact, she'll likely have a good bit left over. Fine, I say. She can use it for a down payment on a home, whatever. After scholarships and the $15K from his dad, my stepson will still owe for undergrad. My husband feels like we should just combine the funds. When we married, we very specifically kept certain things separate, and this was one of them, so I can't help but feel unwilling to just scrap that and mix things together now. It doesn't feel fair or right, but my husband thinks it's an asshole move not to give the kids the same thing. It's never been a problem when my stepson has had extras due to having another parent and household also contributing to his clothing, his car, his spending money, etc. But now suddenly we have to be even. And just to be clear, being even actually means giving my stepson even more of the money due to the fact that my daughter's scholarships are more comprehensive. The kids are close, and I'm sure my stepson will realize there's a difference in university money, but if my husband wanted to change things, I feel like this should have been brought up sooner than this. Am I the asshole? Edit to add, since it's been asked, my late husband was quite young when he passed, so there was nothing much to speak of in the way of an inheritance or life insurance. And yes, to reiterate, my husband and I did discuss this prior to marriage and agreed to keep the children's expenses as part of our separate accounts and finances. And now in the comments, not the asshole. Aside from the fact that he only wants to combine now because you have more money than him, why can't or isn't his son's other parent contributing? Sucks for the sons, but this is literally what his dad wanted and you obliged. And OP says, I don't know what his mother will be contributing, but I can imagine it won't be much. She might surprise us all, but she's more of a spend now person than a save for later. I just want to say, please do not do anything to split the money now. A, your daughter has earned her scholarships. The fact that there will be excess money is due to her hard work. B, it sounds like she did without a lot. From not having a living second parent to not getting as much spending money and luxuries as a young teen. Don't penalize her for that now by taking what your sacrifices accumulated to. C, do not teach her that she has to sacrifice herself and her security to maintain a relationship with a man, her brother and father figure, or that her security and comfort shouldn't be her number one priority. And D, college is a tough transition for a lot of kids. She could lose those scholarships if she falters her first semester or if she figures out this isn't the right school for her. Taking from her funds now puts additional pressure on her to never have a misstep or change in heart, major, school, because her financial security is at stake. This is a hill to die on. I don't usually recommend to stop communicating in a marriage, but this subject matter is closed. Agree with this 100%. You can't predict the future. Scholarships can be lost because of external things, not even just daughter not getting expected grades or changing schools. As funding can fall through, some scholarships are only for the first year and not future years, etc., etc. Don't give away her money because stepfather and ex-wife didn't plan accordingly. Not the asshole. It's not fair your daughter has more college money, huh? Well, it's also not fair that your stepson still has 2 living parents to help him. Your late husband can't do anything more for his daughter than he's already done. He won't be at her graduations. He won't be able to congratulate her on getting her first real job. He'll never get to walk her down the aisle. If she ever has kids of her own, he'll never have the chance to bounce a grandbaby on his knee, or tell his adult daughter how proud he is of the incredible young woman she's become. Money can't replace any of that, but if it makes the start of her young adult life a little easier, it is a small consolation. This is a wonderful take, and I think the best answer. Your daughter has no living dad, only money. I bet she'd give all of it up in a heartbeat if it meant her birth dad could be back with her. I have no living parents, and I would, so I'm going off of that. But that isn't a choice she has. She does have his gift, though, that he left for her. It sounds like the entirety of the savings was due to OP, rather than an inheritance or life insurance payment from the dad. I agree that money is a poor substitute for losing a loved one, but I definitely think the mum deserves the credit here. No assholes here. The asshole here is the cost of college. Edit, I definitely see how the husband is being an asshole here. My visceral reaction was it sucks that these 2 children are put in this position because of the insane prices of college. It is absolutely not okay for the husband to ask for some of his stepdaughter's money. And OP says, not incorrect. And now on to the update. First of all, thank you to the literally thousands of people who responded to my original post. I'm not exactly sure what struck such a deep nerve with this subreddit, but I appreciate everyone who took the time to throw in their 2 cents. When I originally posted, my husband's reaction was still pretty gut, and since then, we've had a few days to talk things through. As I suspected, my husband's problem was never the fact that he only has $15,000 in my stepson's fund, just that by comparison, my daughter's graduation gift is so much larger. In my husband's mind, the money he would be handing to his son would be a graduation gift to be used towards college, but also other things, and that if my stepson needed additional help in the way of loans or financing, we would cross those individual bridges as they came. The way he looked at it, handing a kid a check for $15K is huge. He was just suddenly blown out of the water by how much my daughter's gift will look like next to it. Anyway, we'll not be pulling the accounts. We clarified that any tuition money we spend on the kids moving forward will come from our shared funds and will go equally toward each kid. Basically, if we gift stepson $1,000, we also put that amount in my daughter's account. If we loan either of them money, that's up to them individually to arrange with us. We let the kids know that their accounts are different, and that a lot of the discrepancy in funds is due to the fact that all of my daughter's gifts from family and her other resources, etc., have been pulled into her account already, whereas my stepson still has his mother and other extended family members gifting and contributing at the time of the graduation and as he goes. That is obviously not fully the case, but it helps speak to how aggressively each of us biological parents invested and looked ahead. The kids know that this has long been the case, as my daughter's biological side of the family is quite small compared to my stepson's side of the family, where there are 20 times easily the amount of relatives. The kids are all good. My husband and I are all good. No one will be drowning in college debt as some other comments in the OP feared. We just needed to have a talk about things. Thanks again everyone for all the different perspectives. And now in the comments, if $15K seems that much to him, you might want to check your retirement plans and work something out. $15K would not cover 1 year of school at my university with an in-state discount. And OP says, I think people are confused, assuming that my husband intended this to be a full ride, cover absolutely everything for his college fund. It was designed to be a good head start, and that it is. Okay, so let me see if I understood. The $15K are not a college fund, they're only a kinda kickstart into adult life, but your husband is still gonna pay for his college. And OP replies, the graduation gifts are meant to be a kickstart into adult life, yes, Part of the next steps into the kids' adult lives is university, so I'm sure a lion's share of what they choose to spend that money on will be education. As far as what will be given to the kids for college, etc., beyond their graduation gifts, that will come on a case-by-case basis. Example, not all of their scholarships and grants, etc. are finalized yet, nor are their living arrangements for the freshman year. Once we have a budget, we will sit down and determine what we need to do to help or to loan or what have you. Wow, you are getting the shaft here and are being strong-armed into paying for your half of your stepson's college after you already have saved enough to pay for your daughter's entire college years. You were the responsible parent and saved up for your daughter's future, and your husband was irresponsible and did not save up for his son. Now, the husband wants to share the cost of tuition for both kids, even though your daughter's college is 100% already paid for. You have been manipulated to end up paying for half of your stepson's college expenses from here going forward. How can you not see what the crap end of the deal your husband is forced upon you? Even if your husband and you agreed to give evenly from here on out, just wait until your husband claims that he can't afford to do that, and you and him will end up contributing only to the stepson's account. And OP replies, "Who's being strong-armed?" And no, I'm not paying for half of my stepson's university. The agreement is simply that if or when we give money to one kid, we'll give an equal amount to the other. Anyway, let's get away from that dumpster fire, and our next post is titled, "Would I be the asshole if I insisted on taking our dog on a snow trip when my partner doesn't want the dog to come?" My 43 female family is planning a trip to the mountains with 2 other families. It's been snowing a ton, so we're all really excited. My husband, 43 male, doesn't want our dog, a 1-year-old shepherd, to come with us. His reasons are, it'll be too cold to take her out for potty breaks, she's still a puppy but also pretty big, 75 pounds, so it can be a little overwhelming for people when she gets excited, and one of the people on the trip isn't really a dog person, though that person has a dog that is also coming on the trip. My reasons for insisting on the dog coming are, we got this dog with the goal of having her go on trips like this with us. She is a puppy and will obviously engage in puppy behavior. These are learning opportunities for her, and each of the other families will bring their dogs. 3 dogs total, but they're all under 15 pounds. Our dog is a sweet, gentle giant, but she is obviously big and does have a lot of puppy energy. I don't doubt that she will be annoying during the trip, but she can't get better in these situations unless she is exposed to them. Admittedly, I'm also pushing back on the idea of not taking her because my husband gets impatient with activities that require any initial effort, and he gets anxious when things get a bit chaotic. So, would I be the asshole if I insist on taking the dog? He says if I do insist, I'll have to handle all dog-related things on the trip, which I don't think is fair because we both envisioned this dog being an active part of our lives, and that requires exactly this type of training. Edit to add, answers to common questions. My dog is a year old, has been through 2 basic training courses, and is currently working with a private trainer specializing in shepherds. She's great, but she still has puppy energy and gets excited easily. We both agreed she would be highly involved in our lives. We were especially excited about taking her to the snow. Of the 3 other dogs, 2 are also puppies. My dog is BFFs with one of them. She hasn't met the other 2 yet. And if we don't take her, I have someone who can house sit. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I may be the asshole because he may be right that the juice is not worth the squeeze, but I think I'm biased against his opinions because I feel like he's putting his laziness and anxiety ahead of the best interest of the dog and our shared goals for our family. Now in the comments, 3 other dogs total, but they're all under 15 pounds. Ours is a sweet, gentle giant, but she's obviously big and has a lot of puppy energy. You are going to have to watch her like a hawk. I can believe she would not purposely hurt another dog, but she will be trying to play, and is at least 4 times their size. That could be trouble. Also, consider the rest of your friends and the vacation that they want. A giant dog, still a puppy, that is a lot. It would be one thing if you were literally training a service dog, as they do need experiences like this. Your dog, however, doesn't need to be going on group trips until they are trained and well behaved. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. Why keep pushing the matter if he's already said that he didn't want to do it? Because she wants to spite her husband and force him to train the puppy in this new situation that he will find anxiety-inducing. You're the asshole. I have a shepherd, and I'm assuming you don't know how well he gets on with the other dogs that will be there, unless they've met, which it doesn't sound like they have. Let me tell you, that alone has the potential of ruining your entire trip. Not just yours, but more importantly, everyone else's. I think it would be selfish of you to bring him for the sake of everyone else involved. Yeah, but the whole idea is to socialize the dog. I understand what the idea is. My point is that doing it on a vacation with other people is not a great time because it has the potential to ruin everyone's vacation that didn't sign up for a dog. Look, I feel for you because I love dogs and romping around in the snow with a giant puppy sounds like an awesome time to me. But between your husband's anxiety and the 3 tiny dogs, this just doesn't seem like it's going to work. Find a great dog sitter and pick a different battle. You're the asshole. And now, onto the update. After reading everyone's comments and realizing I was not only not taking into consideration my husband's legitimate concerns and interest in having a stress-free vacation, I was also not considering the comfort level of the other guests. So I accepted the judgment and agreed to keep the dog home with our pet sitter. Husband was happy. The problem is that the pet sitter bailed last minute, so we had to take the dog. And you know what? She was perfect. She got along wonderfully with the other dogs and kids, she stayed out of everyone's way. In fact, she stayed outside in the snow most of the time. And she loved on everyone just enough without being annoying. All the other guests were fawning over her, asking where they can get a dog like her, and volunteering to dog sit if we ever needed it. I loved taking her on walks and exploring with her. I found an open field nearby, and she was literally frolicking in the snow. And my husband, you ask? Well, he helped take care of her, took her on walks, etc. He was so proud of her and kept saying, "She's doing fantastic." So thanks to everyone for their comments. I agreed I was the asshole, and after being forced into the situation, husband agreed that the dog did need that experience, and she exceeded our, and especially his, expectations. He is now excited to take her on future trips. And now in the comments, what a sweetheart. I thought you were not the asshole, as I didn't see the post up until now, because socializing is so important for puppies to learn the hierarchy. Plus, you had already agreed to be the handler for the vacation. Glad it worked out. I would say at the very least, no assholes here, because other people were bringing their dogs. Reminds me of those camping trips with the guys stories, where it's no girlfriends allowed, but by the way, 2 of the guys are actually girlfriends, and it doesn't count because reasons. Too cold to let a shepherd out to pee is laughable. The 15-pound dogs are more likely to have problems being cold. I am so glad everything worked out for you. I read your original post and, to be honest, I didn't think you were the asshole for wanting to take her on the trip for a variety of reasons. 1. Others were taking their dogs. 2. You and your husband got a dog with the intention of taking her on trips. And 3. There was a yard and facilities, so the dog could run off energy. The other dogs may have been much smaller, but that does not mean that they would be more disruptive than a big dog. The size isn't always the issue, it is the temperament. So glad you guys had an awesome trip and your dog can be taken on all sorts of trips in the future. Smiley face. Alright, and that's where we end today's episode, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to smack a thumbs up on this video, and I hope you guys drink some water, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.